Welcome to the Bitcoin Cryptocurrency Income Opportunity, How to Prosper in the COVID-19 Era, Part 1. My name is Darren Elijah, and we're glad that you could join us. Before we begin, I hope that we find you and your family well, as can be expected during this very trying time, which has been devastating for some. So again, welcome, and we're glad that you're here. Today, we're going to quickly cover Bitcoin's global emergence and appeal as a store of value, its practical uses, market adoption, its comparison to gold, which you'll find very interesting, its performance over the last decade, what the experts' forecast for Bitcoin is, and the timing of an investment opportunity. Again, my name is Darren Elijah, entrepreneur, marketing consultant to small to mid-sized businesses, and sales trainer, and I have been known to do the occasional voiceover for commercials and public service announcements. The As Seen On media outlets there in that banner at the bottom of your screen were primarily from my days as a partner in a long-distance services startup. My partners and I enjoyed maybe about 15 minutes of fame, and we were fortunate enough to sell that business after 5 years. Now, I'm glad to be here to share this opportunity with you in the cryptocurrency space and what it can mean for us and our families. And before I go on, let me apologize in advance for any background noise that you may hear. I have some things going on in the office as well as construction going on next door. Okay, I consider myself fortunate that Bitcoin and this opportunity was presented to me recently. I had been listening to what the financial news was saying about Bitcoin, but sort of at a distance in my periphery. However, I knew that at some point I needed to really understand Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole. Well, that day arrived in August this year with a text message from an old business associate that really changed my perception and led to a better understanding of the moment that we find ourselves in right now. Perhaps you will experience the same today. As we try to make sense of it all, governments around the world continue to endlessly print money and dole out trillions of dollars in stimulus to keep industries and struggling corporations afloat. Jobs and lives have been lost, and businesses have closed or applied for bankruptcy protection or changed their business models dramatically. So what do? Well, we've never been here before, and it's a very scary place. Given the current financial climate around the world and the lifestyle changes that we've all undergone, people more than ever are looking for additional streams of income, again, just to survive and get by. So how can you accomplish this without taking on a new job or sheltering in place and social distancing? What are today's money trends? Where is the big money going? Now, as the title implies, the big money is finding its way to Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency phenomenon. Here's the latest major investor making an acquisition of Bitcoin in the amount of $250 million in August. Michael Saylor, CEO of MicroStrategy, says that Bitcoin is superior to cash. The company has made Bitcoin its principal holding in its Treasury Reserve strategy. Now, why would a former opponent to Bitcoin commit not just $250 million, but as you see in that caption on the lower left, he purchased another $175 million in September for a total of $425 million in Bitcoin? Well, he did so because he didn't like the idea of $500 million in cash sitting in his account, burning up at over 2% inflation loss each and every month. Again, he says that Bitcoin is digital gold, harder, stronger, faster, and smarter than any money that has preceded it. Now that's truly putting your money where your mouth is. But let's take a look at what the Oracle of Omaha has to say about paper currency and what prompted Michael Saylor, I think, to actually make the move from cash into Bitcoin. He says, today, people who hold cash equivalents feel comfortable. They shouldn't. They have opted for a terrible long-term asset, one that pays virtually nothing and is certain to depreciate in value. Warren Buffett. Now, there's a correlation to what he's saying and, of course, what the Fed and central banks have recently done with, again, printing more stimulus to pump into the markets and the economy. That printing has contributed to the devaluation of the dollar, and inflation will continue to run a little hotter than normal, according to Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, for the foreseeable future, with no formula as the basis for doing so. Again, very scary times. Bitcoin is the first digital cryptocurrency created in 2009 by an individual or group of individuals known as Satoshi Nakamoto, and it's used as a peer-to-peer version of electronic cash. It was actually designed to do what central banks cannot do: protect against a default due to endless printing of worthless paper, or prevent hyperinflation and the subsequent collapse of their financial system. Bitcoin is really a disruptor of the central banking system and was created in direct response to the Great Recession of 2008. This digital currency, or cryptocurrency, is based on something called cryptographic proof of work, and of course, that's where cryptocurrency derives its name. This chain of data is transmitted between two parties. It allows them to transact commerce privately and securely without the middlemen, the banks. Bitcoin is right now being called the currency or the money of the internet. It is a distributed, worldwide, decentralized digital money. Bitcoins are issued and managed without any central authority whatsoever. There's no government, no company, nor bank in charge. What makes Bitcoin so secure is something, again, called cryptographic proof of work. Without the technical degree needed to understand blockchain technology, the underlying network for Bitcoin, these transactions are computationally impractical, not to mention time-consuming and expensive to hack. So Bitcoin is simply being called the people's currency or digital gold. And as of September 3rd, 2020, Bitcoin has become the sixth largest currency in the world behind the US dollar, the euro, the Chinese yuan, the Japanese yen, and the Indian rupee, and has now a market capitalization of over $200 billion, almost the size of Bank of America. Bitcoin and its underlying network, blockchain, are the best invention since the creation of the internet. Take a look at what we can do with Bitcoin and its practical uses for the average person. So, what can we do with it? For starters, we can do all sorts of online shopping, but as well as local shopping. Savvy business owners are moving into accepting Bitcoin as a method of payment. You can buy or sell Bitcoin at a Bitcoin ATM or send and receive Bitcoin payments peer-to-peer at over 19,000 ATMs worldwide. You can invest in other asset classes using a self-directed IRA that allows cryptocurrencies. How about purchase real estate? Yep. Use it as a decentralized savings vehicle, just like gold and silver, of course. Buy luxury items like very, very exotic supercars and private jets. But the one that I like is creating a wealth plan to leave to your heirs. And you can even support your favorite charities like the Red Cross, Save the Children, and the United Way, all accepting donations in Bitcoin. Look, the innovators of this technology jumped right in on it in 2009. See the market adoption curve at the bottom left of your screen? It is now 2020. 7 years later, of adoption from a technology standpoint is light years away. And in that space, somewhere between 4,000 to 6,100 new alternative cryptocurrency coins have been created because of the underlying Bitcoin infrastructure known as blockchain. Why is that? Because blockchain offers superior infrastructure security for data, network efficiency, and, of course, profitability. Momentum has been building steady, and we are now, right here in 2020, at what I call takeoff or launch time. The timing is right for us to consider an investment. So here's a short list of businesses that are currently accepting Bitcoin as a method of payment, and this list is growing by the day. As a matter of fact, I recently saw the first Bitcoin cashback rewards program on Facebook, and it's called Lolly, where you can earn up to 30% in Bitcoin rewards on everyday name brand purchases. So things just got real for those of us who love cashback rewards. Now, here's what's been happening while most of us have been somewhat, if not completely oblivious to cryptocurrency for the last 11 years. The little Bitcoin thing has created a stir in banking and in governments around the world. What was once a ridiculous idea has become the bane of existence of central banking systems around the world. And yet, adoption of Bitcoin has been friendly not only in North America, but in Australia, Japan with their J-Coin backed by the Bank of Japan, and the entire European Union. Now, many of these countries have decided to join the fray, but by creating a central bank digital currency, or CBDC, or what's known as stablecoins, which are pegged to the local fiat currency one-to-one. Other countries will be playing catch-up if they don't act sooner. While the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank have had discussions and preliminary movement in cryptocurrency, China and the People's Bank of China have become the major power internationally with the rollout of their e-yuan via mass trials which are currently underway. China's first mover or early mover advantage will undermine the global dominance of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, as many countries have already begun to opt out of the dollar. Also, many Asian countries have already moved toward a cashless society with cryptocurrency front and center. Barclays Bank of Britain, HSBC of Hong Kong, Santander Bank of Spain, and UBS of Switzerland are all working on a universal settlement coin internationally. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency granted U.S. banks permission to provide custodial services for cryptocurrencies, which is a major step for banks, but they must catch up in a space where they have been notoriously slow to adapt. Now, while J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs plan their own stablecoins, these financial giants are experiencing FOMO, or the fear of missing out on a gargantuan opportunity. Now, from an investment standpoint, ironically, Bitcoin was doomed to fail from the start. Opponents said it was flawed and had no intrinsic value, but take a look at these headlines. Bitcoin has performed better as an investment than Apple and Amazon. See this headline from Bloomberg. Bitcoin's 9 million% rise this decade leaves skeptics aghast. How about this curated headline from CNN? Bitcoin was the best investment of the decade. Subhead reads, $1 in Bitcoin at the start of 2010 would now be worth $90,000. And next from Bitcoinist.com, how Bitcoin outperformed both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ in the first half of 2020. And from Medium, Bitcoin is officially the best performing asset of the 2010s. Did you miss the boat? We're about to find out. I want you to notice the 9,150,088% gain through 2019 in the lower right corner of your screen. At that time last December, Bitcoin had a market capitalization of $130 billion. 10 months later, that number has grown to over $200 billion and counting. Again, almost the size of Bank of America. Now take a look at that large image that you see to the left. A measly $100 investment in Bitcoin today would have yielded you $9.2 million, $9,200,000 in comparison to the other investments that are very well known, such as Amazon, Apple, Visa, Microsoft, Facebook, etc. Now, how's that for an investment that was DOA for many as late as last year? Bitcoin is no longer on trial. So let's take a look at the forecasts for Bitcoin. Fidelity Investments believes that Bitcoin will ultimately become a $1 million coin according to their research. As a matter of fact, they've created a new division called Fidelity Digital Assets and recently filed with the SEC to launch a Bitcoin index fund with a minimum investment of $100,000. And listen, Fidelity is no fly-by-night organization. They manage some $8 trillion in assets. Their move here into cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, is not a mistake. It is significant in this space. The cryptocurrency research report says Bitcoin will hit close to $20,000 by this year, then rise to $341,000 per coin by 2025 and $398,000 by 2023, as this headline indicates. Then you have the Winklevoss twins. They say there's a case for $500,000 Bitcoins. And last, a quote from one of the foremost authorities on cryptocurrency, Anthony Pompliano. He says, Bitcoin is headed to $100,000. Just wait and see. So how can you acquire and grow your Bitcoin passively and do it with no upfront cost outside of buying your Bitcoin itself? No experience, no hidden fees, no maintenance costs or special skills, and maintain liquidity of your investment so it's available when you need it? Well, when you buy Bitcoin, you have two options. Let it sit in your wallet and hope it goes up in value. Or option number 2, hit the easy button with done-for-you day trading, again without experience. So which would you prefer? Buy, hold, and pray, or the easy button option? Well, if you answered option 2, the easy button, then proceed to the next video, part 2, the Bitcoin investment opportunity, where we share how to take advantage of done-for-you day trading and compounding of your Bitcoin growth daily. Thanks for watching.